When Emma joined Hawthorne Financial, no one noticed her. She was 25, soft-spoken, and always arrived early. She wore simple clothes, tied her hair neatly, and kept her eyes down as she walked through the glass doors each morning. She worked as an assistant in the operations department, handling paperwork no one wanted and tasks no one thanked her for. To most people, she blended into the background. To her boss, Daniel Hawthorne, she barely existed. Daniel was 30, sharp-minded, disciplined, and known throughout the company for his high standards. He had built his reputation on speed, results, and control. He did not tolerate mistakes. He did not tolerate delays. And he did not tolerate what he saw as weakness. Emma, in his eyes, was slow. Not careless. Not lazy. Just quiet. And Daniel mistook quiet for incompetence. He spoke to her without looking up. He corrected her in meetings. He reassigned her work without explanation. When something went wrong in the department, even if it was not her fault, his eyes went to her first. Emma, fix this. Emma, you should know better. Emma, try to keep up. Never cruel enough for others to complain. Just dismissive enough to remind her where she stood. Emma accepted it silently. She had learned long ago that dignity did not always come from being defended by others. Sometimes it came from enduring with grace. What no one at Hawthorne Financial knew was that Emma's life outside those glass walls carried weight most of them could not imagine. Every evening after work, she did not go out with friends or unwind at cafes. She went home to a small apartment where she cared for her younger brother, Noah, a 12-year-old boy with a gentle smile and a heart condition that required constant attention. Their parents had passed away years earlier. Emma had been only 19 when she became Noah's guardian. She had worked 2 jobs while studying, learned medical schedules, insurance forms, and hospital corridors before she ever learned how to live for herself. The ring on her finger was not decorative. It was her mother's ring. A simple silver band with a small, worn stone. Her mother had given it to her the night before she passed away, sliding it onto Emma's finger and whispering, "This means responsibility. This means love. This means you are never alone." Emma wore it every day. It reminded her why she endured. One Monday morning, the department faced a crisis. A major client's file had errors. Deadlines were missed. Numbers did not align. Panic spread through the office like a cold wind. Daniel stormed out of his office, his jaw tight. "Who handled this account?" he demanded. Silence. Then a manager spoke. The data came from 3 departments. Emma compiled the final report. Daniel's eyes snapped to her. "Emma," he said sharply. "My office. Now." The room went still. Emma stood, smoothed her skirt, and followed him without protest. Inside his office, Daniel paced. "This is unacceptable," he said. "Do you understand the consequences of mistakes like this?" Emma nodded. "Yes, sir." "Then explain why this happened." She took a breath. The numbers from accounting were revised Friday evening. I sent emails requesting confirmation before finalizing, but I didn't receive responses. I flagged the discrepancies in my notes. Daniel stopped pacing. "You flagged them?" "Yes." I attached the notes to the report. He turned to his desk, pulled up the file, and scrolled. There they were. Clear. Organized. Time-stamped. His frustration faltered. Before he could speak, his phone rang. He answered sharply, then grew quiet. His expression changed. He hung up and looked at Emma differently. "The client meeting is in 2 hours," he said. "Can you fix this?" "Yes," she replied calmly. "If I have access to accounting and compliance, I can correct it within 90 minutes. Daniel hesitated, then nodded. "Do it." For the next hour and a half, Emma worked with steady focus. She coordinated departments, corrected errors, and rebuilt the report with precision. When she finished, she placed the revised file on Daniel's desk. "Ready," she said. Daniel reviewed it. "Perfect." He exhaled slowly. "Good work," he said, the words unfamiliar on his tongue. As she turned to leave, something caught his eye. The ring. He had never noticed it before. Simple. Old. Clearly not expensive. Yet the way Emma wore it, the way her fingers instinctively brushed it when she was nervous, made him pause. "That ring," he said without thinking. "It's meaningful." Emma stopped. "Yes," she said quietly. He hesitated. "Family." She nodded. "My mother's." Something shifted in his expression. He did not know why, but in that moment, the image he had of Emma fractured. She was no longer just an assistant. She was someone carrying something unseen. Later that week, Daniel overheard a phone call by accident. Emma stood near the stairwell, her voice low but steady. "Yes, doctor, I understand. Noah's medication is running low. I'll adjust my hours if needed. Thank you." Daniel froze. He waited until she ended the call. "Is everything okay?" he asked, surprising both of them. She looked startled, then composed herself. "My brother has a heart condition. He has an appointment next week." Daniel said nothing for a moment. Then, "If you need time off, arrange it. No penalty." She looked at him, truly looked at him, and for the first time saw something human behind the authority. "Thank you," she said. From that day on, Daniel watched differently. He noticed how Emma helped others without being asked. How she stayed late without complaint. How she corrected mistakes quietly so others would not be embarrassed. He began to understand that strength did not always announce itself. Weeks later, a company event was held, a family open house. Employees were encouraged to bring loved ones. Emma hesitated, then brought Noah. Daniel saw them from across the room. Noah stood beside her, smaller than his age, smiling shyly as Emma adjusted his jacket and spoke to him with gentle authority. Daniel approached. "This must be your brother," he said. Noah nodded. "Yes, sir." "You've raised a polite young man," Daniel said. Emma smiled softly. "He raised me too in some ways." Daniel noticed the ring again as she reached for Noah's hand. And suddenly, everything he had overlooked became clear. The patience, the resilience, the quiet competence. He had treated her like nothing, and she had carried everything. A week later, during a department meeting, Daniel did something unexpected. "I want to acknowledge Emma," he said. "Her work ethic, accuracy, and leadership have been critical to our success." The room turned to her. Emma blinked, stunned. Daniel continued, "Effective immediately, she will take on a senior operations role." Applause filled the room. Emma's hands trembled as she stood. "Thank you," she said simply. After the meeting, Daniel stopped her. "I owe you an apology," he said. "I misjudged you." She looked at him calmly. "We all carry things others cannot see." Daniel nodded. "I see you now." That evening, Emma slipped the ring off her finger briefly, cleaned it, and placed it back on. Not because she needed its strength, but because she had learned she already carried it. And somewhere her mother would have smiled.